Breaking news today. Breaking, authorities warn Florida is 48 HRS from Fukushima-style catastrophe after making alarming find on radar. As Category 5+ Irma barrels towards Florida and is scheduled to make landfall by Saturday morning, massive evacuations are now underway. But unfortunately, catastrophic weather might soon be the least of our concerns. Now there's a terrifying new threat experts are warning of that could hurl America into a realm of disaster never witnessed before in our country. Florida currently has two massive nuclear power plants, Turkey Point and the St. Lucie plant, that are currently in the process of having their reactors shut down in preparation for the massive storm set to hit in 48 hours. But this might still not be enough to prevent disaster. Now experts have confirmed that Hurricane Irma is on a direct path to hit these two nuclear reactors as it barrels towards Florida this weekend, sparking fears of a Fukushima-style catastrophe. Back in 2011, the world watched on in horror as Fukushima, Japan, suffered a nuclear disaster after a tsunami disabled emergency generators responsible for cooling the nuclear reactors. This led to subsequent nuclear meltdowns and hydrogen air explosions, causing radioactive material to then be released throughout the air. Now experts are warning that the same thing could happen again, this time in Florida. If we anticipate there will be direct impacts on either facility, we'll shut down the units, said FPL spokesman Peter Robbins, adding that the decision would be made well in advance. InfoWars reported. Irma, on the other hand, has sparked fears of a Fukushima-like incident at the two nuclear plants. A nuclear power plant in Fukushima, Japan melted down in 2011 after an earthquake and tsunami disabled the reactor's emergency generators, which led to 3 nuclear meltdowns and the release of unprecedented amounts of radioactive material. The historic incident forced about 160,000 residents to flee their homes, and the cleanup of the radioactive substances in the region remains ongoing after nearly 7 years of intensive containment and cleanup efforts. As we reported, the U.S. government and media downplayed the devastation amid concerns a radioactive plume would cross the Pacific and settle across California. Immediately after the earthquake, the active reactors automatically shut down their sustained fission reactions, Wikipedia reported. However, the tsunami disabled the emergency generators that would have provided power to control and operate the pumps necessary to cool the reactors. The insufficient cooling led to 3 nuclear meltdowns, hydrogen air explosions, and the release of radioactive material in Units 1, 2, and 3 from 12 March to 15 March. Loss of cooling also caused the pool for storing spent fuel from Reactor 4 to overheat on 15 March due to the decay heat from the fuel rods. This is horrifying news, as Florida is being targeted on many different fronts. On Wednesday, ISIS terrorists' disgusting plan to poison grocery stores and attack hurricane shelters was brought to light, adding an additional stress to authorities' emergency who will already have their resources stretched thin. Breitbart reported. A pro-Islamic State, ISIS, Telegram channel has urged lone wolf jihadists in the United States to target relief centers in Houston, Texas, housing people displaced by Hurricane Harvey, according to a report from Site Intelligence Group. To all the LMS, lone warriors, in the U.S., pop down to Houston and drop in at any of the relief centers housing displaced people from the Houston floods. Make sure to bring lots of supplies/gadgets/toys to see if you can help put any cuffs, disbelievers, out of their misery. The message reads, followed by a series of emojis depicting explosions, knives, bombs, guns and medical symbols. The hurricane, which primarily affected Texas as well as parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky has forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes and take shelter in relief centers. It is estimated to have caused $180 billion in damage and claimed the lives of at least 60 people. In the past few days, Islamic State channels have also posted calls for attacks on Europe, Russia, and the United States, on the occasion of the Islamic sacrifice feast Eid al-Adha. Meanwhile, Another message urges supporters to use chemical weapons by injecting cyanide into products in Western supermarkets. It is not the first time that the group called for attacks against American civilians. In November 2016, the group called for the slaughter of civilians taking part in the presidential election and urged supporters to make this year's U.S. presidential election a dreadful calamity like no other to have struck America throughout its pathetic history. Hopefully the people of Florida take this threat seriously, as there will be no riding out the storm like some people in Houston foolishly tried to do. One local man who lives in southern Florida put out a warning on his Facebook page that everyone needs to take to heart.